Okay, guys, so these are the instructions for task two. I will have gone over task two of lesson two, I should say. Task one is to watch this video. I will have gone over this task in the live lesson, unless I drastically run out of time. But I'm including this video in case you couldn't make the live lesson or in case you are not sure when you come back to this lesson on Thursday what to do. So you're going to have to write a 10-mark answer that compares the ideas from both texts, okay? So what do both writers think about waste? And household waste, food waste in particular. The grid on the next slide is going to help you to map out that answer. So mapping out an answer is the same as planning an answer, but the grid might help you to kind of visualize the different areas. So each area of the grid represents a different area of the question focus, and I'll go through that in a second. It says there it divides the question focus into 4 areas. In each box, write ideas and evidence a quote that fit the heading. I've completed 2 examples for you, and I'll go through those in a second. Ensure that in your comment you comment on how the quote answers the question. You must say what the writer's attitude to waste is, but also explain how you know that through either the content or the language. The guide for you to follow for your pathways on the next slide, so you need to read that before starting, and I will go over that for you in a second as well. And my analysis is color-coded to your pathway, and I will explain that in a second as well. But basically what this does is it formulates your answer for you. It puts all of your ideas together, and then you just have to match them up and then write up your answer. So I have given you 2 spaces to do this. The second place here is only if you run out of room on the previous slide. I know you can make your font smaller, but I also know some people just get annoyed with things not fitting on slides. So that's the only reason that slide is there. You can completely ignore it if you want. So you can see how much detail I've put about one idea though. Now, if I'm grades 4 to 5, aiming for a grade 4 to 5, I need to identify at least one piece of evidence for each box. Actually, I am going to change that to 2. I want you all finding 2 in each box, please, and comment on what each evidence shows. So is it positive views, negative views, and any techniques? If you're aiming for a 6 or 7, you need to really comment on how the writer wants to affect the reader. And then if you're commenting on 8 or 9, you really want to focus on techniques and language analysis. So we'll look at this example here, okay? So first of all, I'll explain the headings. Then I'll explain the examples. So this question asks you, what are the writer's attitudes, or how compare the writer's attitudes towards waste? It breaks it down to what are their attitudes and how do they show the reader their attitudes, or how do they get the reader across their attitudes to the reader? Now, the what are their attitudes is the content. What are they actually saying their attitude is? So you can compare directly their ideas, but the how is about how they use language or structure. So you need to find some ideas to compare there as well. Okay, so first of all here, nothing should be thrown away. Displays a negative view towards waste as nothing suggests everything can have a purpose. The writer uses an accusatory tone, moving on to 6 or 7, analysing tone there. Statement of nothing and the verb thrown, so more focused single word analysis, which forces responsibility on the reader. The tone shifts from the introduction of the article, providing impact to the writer's challenge of the reader's conscience. That's kind of commenting on the structure as well, and really focusing on what the writer is trying to do to the reader. Come down here, so that was the frugal housewife's attitude towards waste. Here you would put what was waste not what not's attitudes towards waste. He's called John Humphreys. The frugal housewife here, any ideas for language or structure, how she puts her argument across, Lydia Childs, and here the same for John Humphreys. So in Waste Not Want Not, we waste 500,000 tonnes of food. This is a fact to negatively highlight the great amount of waste. And then to push that on, the writer makes the reader feel responsible for the fact through the pronoun we, so closer language analysis, and then in the grades 8 to 9 colour, the writer forces attention on the severity of the problem, as fact sounds much greater than the restaurant meal previously mentioned. So comparing it back and commenting on the use of structure in that article as well. So basic level, you have to do the blue, but really building in your analysis to a higher level is in the red and the pink. So we need another idea in those 2 boxes, at least 2 ideas in those boxes. So you want to have 6 pieces of evidence at the minimum, which are 3 comparative ideas. So one idea compared to another idea, evidence from text A, evidence from text B. Second idea compared to another idea, evidence from text A, evidence from text B. Third idea evidence from text A, evidence from text B. You get the picture. You can do that 5 times so that you've got 10 quotations, 5 from each text. That's when you're looking at a 10 out of 10. Okay, Poppets, I'm going to do one more video, hopefully ever, on slide 18 to explain how you write up this answer. Well, I would if I could work out how to stop recording.